All right, so I'll try to make this as quick as I can. So we have, first of all, butler, which is the concierge type services that you're going after. So the total market, the TAM, starts at 16 million and goes up to about 18 million in 3 years that we're trying to do the projections for. So you're going to be capturing 20% of that market in the first year, 35% in the second year, 50% by year three. And the total revenue from that channel is 2.7 million riyals. This is just coming from the eButler channel, charging the 15% commission. Then you have Enable, which is the food industry. It's massive. It's a 13 billion dirham market in 2022, 14 billion, and then almost 15 billion in the 3 year period. So there's about a 5.5% growth year over year in that market. So if you capture a half of 1% from that market and you're charging a half a dirham per transaction, yeah, you're at a 14 million dirham revenue in the first year. And if you capture just a seventh of 1/7 of 1%, so just a small growth rate, at the same rate you'll jump to 20 million, almost 21 million dirham. And if you jump and then if you capture 1% of that market by year three, it's 31 million in revenue. That's just a very slow capture of a growth rate in that industry. But because there are so many transactions, the numbers exponentially increase as you continue to grow in that market. So we have a total of about 66 million dirham just coming from this revenue channel, which you're earning a half a dirham per successful transaction. And then tenant X or 10X, you have 581,000 apartments. There are so many different types of apartment units. So I found the 581,000 that doesn't include hotels or maybe standalone villas that are available for rent. And who knows what other types of units that are available for rent. But this is just apartments only. So if you capture 2% of this market in year one, you're generating about 700,000 dirhams a year. 5% year two, you jump to 1.7 million. 10% year three, 3.5 million. In total from this channel, about 6 million dirham. So these numbers, you can actually tweak them around. So eButler, if you want to change the commission rate, for instance, if you go from 15% to 20%, the numbers change. And you would jump to about 3.5 million revenue from that channel as compared to 2.7 million, but it's still not much of a jump. This is where the volume is from Enable. So if Enable, you change the percentages. So right now, currently at a half of 1% and a 7/10 of 1%, and then at 1%, you're at 66 million in revenue. If we do 1% in year one, and then maybe 2% in year two, and 5% in year three, the numbers dramatically go up to 243 million dirhams. So again, you can change these as you want, but the volume of transactions is exponential. So you actually have to be able to handle that kind of volume. One, from a technology perspective, and two, your network of restaurants or whatever the model is to be able to have enough drivers to facilitate all this as you adjust these numbers. But I would leave them at these small numbers because you're saying what 1/2 of 1% is very small, tiny percentage that you feel is something that you can definitely get as a company, especially because you guys are experienced coming from the Qatar market. And you're growing very slowly, 7/10 of 1%, and then 1% here. All these together, you actually have the total valuation of 74 million, almost 75 million dirhams. So When you apply a discount rate to 75 million dirhams, which this is just above $21 million, I mean, it's above $20 million. So if I do a 55% discount rate, it gives a valuation of 33 million dirhams. And at a 55% discount rate, 3% would get you a million dirham. So if you change the discount rate to 40%, for instance, you'll say, look, we have experience, we're coming from Qatar, we've been around forever, or we've been around for a while, and the technology has developed exponentially throughout the years that we've been around, so the discount rate shouldn't be that high at 40%. Then the 3%, which was around a million, is now at 1.3 million. And you can keep playing around. If you do only a 20% discount rate, you're getting about 1.8 million for 3%, or 1.2 million for 2%. And that's how you kind of just adjust these numbers. 55% discount rate is usually given for high risk startups, but that have achieved certain things. So you have achieved a lot of sales, you've shown success, and you've developed the technologies. So that the discount rate actually goes anywhere between 55 to up to 85%, depending on the risks associated. So I think 55% is a good number. But this is just to explain how you are able to get 1 million for 3% in these three revenue channels, and by capturing very small percentages of each of those particular markets. Let me know if that makes sense, and that should be good enough to get you to at least go in those details if you needed to with your uncle.